Today I welcome Dan Kulkov on the show. So thanks for accept my invitation.
Thanks for having me.
So Dan, if you should resume your path as an entrepreneur in 3 to 5 minutes, how you will do that?
All right. So 2 years ago, I started to build indie products with my wife Sveta, and we started with content products because we didn't know how to code, how to use no-code tools. And our first product was MakerBox. It was just content products around marketing. Think Notion checklist, video courses, ebooks, and other stuff like this. That is basically summarized our experience, our lessons around marketing for other entrepreneurs. So we have been doing this for like a year, but we felt stuck. Revenue wasn't growing. It was kind of like a rat race for us because we were living from launch to launch, and it wasn't a very sustainable business. And at that point of time, I think ChatGPT was released, and I discovered Bubble, and that was the moment that clicked for me, and we started to build AI wrappers around marketing too, and that's how Founderpal was built. And now it's our main business for almost 7, 8 months, I think. And now I'm mostly focused on building AI wrappers around marketing. Some of them are free, some of them are paid. So yeah, that's what I do now, and I think I'm a little bit close to marketing topic, but I still like to build things.
Yeah, that will be definitely the main topic on our podcast for sure. There's something I'm missing from I think your past is like you started building indie product with your wife 2 years ago, but
Yeah.
you went directly into marketing and for product type of things. But what you were doing before that lead you to have this knowledge, because you need knowledge. Like many makers are struggling with marketing, and you arrive in
Yeah.
2 years ago and you're revolutionizing everything.
Yeah. So I think like if we skip interns like jobs at university, my first big job was being a chief operational officer in startup. We were building kind of platform for interactive online courses, and we raised money. We increased the team from 2 people to 60 people. That was like a big business. And
Yeah.
being COO means you kind of are responsible for everything. But I think I was the typical founder who kind of avoided marketing and sales most of the time. And that is mostly the reason why the product died, because we didn't grow fast enough. We didn't have a sustainable, foundation of marketing. And I think in the last 6 months of the business, this idea it hit me like I need to do marketing. And the last 6 months was very intense. I was learning marketing, I was doing marketing, I was managing sales team,
Yeah.
marketing team. And I think I learned a lot by just doing this for 6 months, by trying to save the company. And for me, MakerBox wasn't like, let me teach you all I know. It was like, how can I learn things and along the way create simple products that like summarize my lessons. And most like products that we built in the beginning are not in educational format, are not like in a way, come here and listen to me and I will teach you everything.
Yeah.
More like I saved you time and I have done the research for you. So like, for example, here's a directory of 100 marketing ideas. I don't guarantee you this will change your
It will
business. I
work.
don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like this is a list of good ideas. This is the summary of every idea and how you can approach it. And here are like resources to learn. And it was learning for me and also earning for me. And I think that's how I discovered content products. But biggest reason, I didn't know how to do anything. I was just good at creating content at some level, mostly educational content. And that
Mhm.
was like a very, I think, reasonable approach just to create content products around marketing.
Man, that's so interesting and funny, like, because for an external point of view, when I don't know you and I see you first like 2 years ago on Twitter, like you start and you come talk about marketing. And for me, like, and I think many other people in the community, we think you're a fucking genius in marketing. You're like so far in front of us because you seems like very understand this is a very important thing and we have to work on it. Where you're just walking the path like us and you have struggled like us. So, so first, thanks for that. I feel less lonely because this is so hard and you always learn it the bad way. Like it slap on your face and you're like, oh shit,
Yeah.
things not working because of that. So
Yeah,
yeah, thanks
I,
for that
I,
first.
I can even like double down on this. I feel like I'm one of the worst marketers, and like when I think about my marketing skills, I don't think anything extraordinary. Like I would say that I write copy on average. The way I create landing page is on average. Like most of the skills
Mm-hmm.
are on average. What probably gives me some edge is like I have multiple marketing skills on average that is really good in combination, because you can have the best guy in the landing pages and the best person in marketing copy and like the best person on emails. But to be an average in those three skills, and just
Mm-hmm.
be 100% independent when you do these things for your company is very, I think, useful. And secondly, I think for me is I have a very big experience and big angle from being a builder myself. And I don't just think like just marketing. No, I
Yeah.
mostly think how you can actually incorporate marketing in building things, and that's why I probably mostly talk about marketing strategy, not some specific tactics like do these TikToks or send these cold emails. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think of myself as a very good marketer now.
No, I think you exactly target the point I didn't saw, but I had the same problem for me. Like for a long period, I was doing like instead of indie making, I was in the startup world. I was a CTO. I was trying to build my product, market around it, do like social selling on LinkedIn, and I was average, but average on the myriad of people on LinkedIn, you are like no one. And then I switched it to do like my thing into a more technical context because I am a technical person originally, so I
Mm.
couldn't compete in social selling globally. But in social selling as a technical person, then I was top one
Yeah.
super easily. And I think this is exactly what you explain. Like in the global marketing, maybe you're very average, but on the marketing for maker, like for me, you're top one or on the very top. Because
Thank
you're
you.
doing great and you helping on the point. Like many things you read about marketing when you are a maker, it's useless. You're like, I will never do that. Like it will took me a week to do this strategy, and I have other things to do as
Mm.
well. Everything what you're giving is like, okay, it's a quick shot. You can do it easily, and it makes sense. So that make you ingenious in your niche, and that's very nice.
Thank you. I will think about it a lot of times.
Yeah, yeah. No, in fact, like for me, that's so much what we miss sometimes when we build a product, even because you are a product as well. Like when you do social marketing, you're basically a product.
Yeah.
So what we miss also often in product is like our product can be very nice or very average, let's say, to a lot of people. But for a few niche, we can be very
Mm.
valuable. The product can
Yeah.
be insane good. And if you understand this niche, then your product is like, will make even more money than the generic one. And that's something
Yeah.
we miss because like, we have this kind of ego. We're like, yeah, I want to make something super big. But by thinking it's super big, it target no one and it will do nothing. While if you think it's super narrow, it will make, it will make way more
Yeah.
money.
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
So yeah, that's definitely a lesson we have to keep in mind, and for makers who listen, it's very
Yeah.
important. Okay, so that's where you come from. That's a very interesting point. I think we can go back to a few things you have started with. So you shared the first product you were launching. It was something very dependent to launch. So you were starting with I think I
Makerbox,
forgot
yeah.
the name. Yeah, MakerBox. And so where the idea of MakerBox came from is because your past experience with your startup?
Mm. Um, when we just first sat down with Sveta and we were like, what our first product should be about, we had like a Notion page, quite literally, in
Mm-hmm.
which we brainstormed everything we can possibly think of, like what is interesting for us, what sounds reasonable for us. And one of the ideas was that, there are kind of a lot of tools on the internet, and it's kind of hard to understand like what is a good tool for you. And a lot of tools are expensive, and when you can use a free tool and not a paid tool that will make a difference for your budget. And that's why we decided to create a directory of tools with awesome free plans for makers.
Yeah.
And that was a very simple idea. I think we built the product like it was an Airtable directory in like maybe 3 to 4 days. And yeah, that was the first product. It was very simple. It didn't require any authority on the topic because we were no one on Twitter. We didn't have any audience, and
Mm-hmm.
it was fun to build. It was just very easy and simple product, and we launched it, and it made like almost 2K on the first month. For us, it was a very big signal, very good signal, because when we started doing indie entrepreneurship, we said to ourselves, it will be great if in 6 months we can like make a living and make some dollars. And we
Yeah.
didn't expect much. And in the beginning, we were like creating an Upwork account just to make sure there is
Yeah. To
some
put eggs in
probably.
different boxes.
Yeah, true. And it was the first product, and then like the next product was a list of marketing frameworks. I was at that time very interested into these like mental models around marketing, and I think I knew a lot of them, and it was very natural for me just to compile all of this knowledge into just like a
Mm-hmm.
directory in Notion. So yeah, and that was the kind of products we created. Very simple one that save people time, give some directions and some clarity, and most importantly, a very no-brainer in terms of price. Because if you create SaaS, it's a monthly subscription, it's $49 per month, it's a big commitment. But when you see a directory of tools with free plans and it costs you
Mm-hmm.
$19 and you're like from US, from Europe, it's a no-brainer for most of the people.
Yeah,
So that
especially
was a
in
very,
business. Yeah.
yeah, like, should I spend 10 hours searching for tools, or should I just buy a directory that does this job for me? So, yeah, that was MakerBox. It was honestly just like, what is the easiest product we can build that will give us some money? There were some ideas on the list that were much more complicated, but I mean, even now, I wouldn't build them because I'm just not sure I can monetize them.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, complex product is like a game you can play maybe if you have like million to burn, but most of the time, if you're like bootstrapping, you're not betting on the right horse. Like it can be done, it can work, but
Yeah,
the odds are against you.
yeah,
So yeah, when you're short in money, it's definitely not the best strategy. I have a question related to your partner and you. Like, so
yeah.
you closed the previous company and she was working with you, or she also dropped her job at the same time?
Uh, no, yeah. She dropped another job, and we then joined another jobs, but we um, very soon realized we don't want to work there. So it was like we both lost our jobs, we both joined new jobs, and we both hated them a little bit. And it was a perfect moment to start indie entrepreneurship. I mean, at the beginning, I was thinking to start it myself, just as a
Hmm.
side hustle, but then we like calculated things, and it made perfect sense to start together. It was more fun, and I think it has a good synergies in terms of skills. So yeah, and we started to work on our indie entrepreneurship like full time at the 2 years ago. Yeah,
2 years
almost
ago
2 years
now.
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big bet, man. Like doing that as one person is having balls, but like as a couple, it's like you're not kidding.
Yeah.
Did
Yeah.
did that has been like complex in terms of relationship between both of you? I don't know how long you've been together before that, but like creating a project together, do you feel this is like a challenge in plus? I believe this question is kind of obvious, but
Yeah. We were like maybe 4 years at that time. Yeah, if now six. Yeah, yeah. So like four years. Definitely a different dynamic, and it's hard for me to say will it work for everyone because I know
Mhm.
couples in which people have like just absolutely different interests, and they don't like absolutely interact in terms of like what they do for
Yeah,
work. Um, we were both in kind of business, kind of operations, kind of marketing things, so it was easier for us. And I think we kind of have the same style. We both suck at working with other people, and I think that's a very good, premise to
yes,
work. And I wouldn't say it was very challenging because for me, work is a joy. I love working. Um, Sveta is also very good because she found tasks that are actually interesting for her. I mean, obviously, it changes how you spend time together because
hmm
you can just sit and stare at laptops. It requires some experience, to because like I can talk about work, for example, all the time. And I think there is some experience to get when you should stop thinking about the work and start like
yeah,
talking about other things because there is always work to be done, always work to be discussed, and it requires some skills. But I would say working together is one of the best things that happened like in terms of my creator and builder career. It's very fulfilling,
yeah,
very easy to work, and it's like at that point of time I'm not sure like in 5 years I want to work with other people because all of the things that kind of didn't give me joy was working with other people are now
hmm
absolutely not present, and I can just enjoy life, enjoy work. But again, I know some examples of people who tried to work together, didn't work because they have very different styles.
yeah,
So it's not a silver bullet for sure. And if some people, again, we don't have kids, we don't have mortgage, so it was kind of easier for us to just go all in this journey. Worst case scenario, we would need to find jobs in 6 months. But if you
yeah.
have kids, if you have mortgage, you have very different styles. I That wouldn't be my first advice to start working together. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah, definitely. This is against the odds. But yeah, I'm super happy that works for you. But for sure, if you work with someone you love every day and that works, this is beautiful.
yeah,
And definitely, I've tried that a bit like 4 years ago with a previous partner, and that was such a mess, man. I stopped like for after 2 weeks, and we're like,
yeah,
maybe it's a bad idea.
yeah.
So yeah, I totally bet I understand the thing. This is not a silver bullet at all. Um,
I think we
the,
like as entrepreneurs, just to a little bit elaborate on this topic. I talk to a lot of
yeah,
people, and we kind of all are a little bit the same. We think very much of ourselves. We just like we hate any other piece of opinion. We don't want to listen to feedback. We just want to, do our thing without any judgment, without any interventions. And I think there
yeah,
are like some good parts in it. It's definitely about ownership. It's definitely about like trying to build something good and not something average. There are also a lot of limitations to this. Most of like I think most of the best ideas that we built are not built just because one person had this idea. It's because one
Hmm.
person had an idea, the other person gave useful feedback. There were some iterations, and that's a good thing. Um, it's hard to go alone, and I know a lot of solopreneurs, they struggle from being super lonely. Again, working with someone as a two-person company helps a lot because you don't feel lonely. So I think it's something that I would recommend a lot of people do. Try to work with someone, but it also requires to change your behavior in things that are not very efficient. And there are things in every one of us, and it teaches you how to give feedback better. It teaches you to receive feedback. And I know a lot of solopreneurs, when I talk to them and they like ask for my feedback, most of them just can't handle feedback, no matter how, gentle it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. They just can't stand the idea that someone think that their product is not perfect. And I know a lot of people on Twitter right now, if they changed this mindset, just one thing, one character trait, they would start making way more money. And again, I
No.
had a pleasure to, cooperate with some people and change this trait in them, and I see results. But a lot of people just, they're just only me, only my ego, only my product.
That's very interesting you're saying that because that's what you said a bit at the beginning, like you don't want to have like much opinion of people. So it seems to
Yeah,
everyone has kind of this ego.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think it
True,
should be
absolutely.
in moderated.
Yeah.
Because like yeah, it's very hard for me. I had this realization. So I was like you, I was in a startup. I quit the startup basically because I was pissed off working with people, and these people I was working with, I love them personally, like I
Mm,
love them as a person, but working with them, I don't know, I start to hate them at one point, like
mm.
I don't know. And I realized, so I don't want to work with anyone else.
Yeah,
And at one point, I started to have kind of people working for me because the way I work on open source in CapGo, that bring people to work with me. And now I have an intern. And I was kind of having a discussion with people about like, yeah, sometimes I have too much work on certain things,
mm,
like I have like bugs or whatever, and I want also to do marketing and all the stuff, and I can't. And this person was like, why are you not making a team? Like, this is very obvious things. And I was like, no, fuck off team. I don't want team. And then I realized this is just because before I was a co-founder and I had no 100% ownership on what I'm going to hire and
mm,
how. And now I can see, like, because I have this control, I can maybe find people who are like me. Like my intern is very, very like me in many things. So I enjoy working with him. He's annoying me sometimes, but in a way, in mostly I enjoy working with him because I can drive him the way I want, and he's already a lot like me. So I think this is a bit like what you have with your partner. Like many people you cannot
yeah,
work with, but certain people you can very work with them.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
They are hard to find.
That's true.
And so yeah, you say like basically you don't see yourself like growing the team anyway in like 5 years.
I think I'm very open-minded on this. It's not like, oh, I hate teams, I hate VC
Hmm.
investments, and I'm 100% bootstrapped till the death. Like, obviously, if there is an opportunity,
Okay,
if there
let's
is
stop
a
the
need,
podcast now.
yeah. So
Continue.
I th I think it's when it's reasonable, it might make sense to consider hiring people. But the biggest mistake I made in my first business was hiring people without a good reason to hire them. It's
Yes.
kind of, yes, just an ego thing that we kind of programmed from I don't know where, but like we think that the bigger the team, the better, the cooler, and that's what I will do. I will hire more people, and that's a cool thing. But then you see the work, it starts to be slower and slower, fewer results, people
Yeah.
conflict more than before. And right now, I think like, what can I hire for? And right now, I just don't see a problem to be solved. And unless I see a very good problem, I don't want to hire people. I definitely can consider working with contractors. We actually tried to work with a TikTok contractor. It didn't end up well, but I think it was mostly, maybe not the best judgment from us and not the best communication from us, like how we set up our work. But um, I'm very big on like before hiring someone, before outsourcing, do the thing yourself, become at least a little bit not the expert, but a little bit know something about the topic, and then you can hire. So you want to do SEO? Okay, do the SEO first for 6 months, and you will understand the limitations of your approach. You will understand what is missing. If you just go and hire an SEO agency and just say, okay, do SEO, they will bullshit you. Maybe not intentionally, but like the results will be definitely slower than you do and then hire. So I try to do as many things myself right now. And the things that I don't like, I delegate to Sveta, or Sveta delegates to me. It goes both way. For example, like just to give you an example, I do customer support, and I see a lot of people saying, you should outsource customer support after a certain revenue point. I don't
For me, it's so important.
I don't feel the need. I have like maybe, let's say 5 emails per day, like that are actually meaningful. I need to respond to them. Why would I spend hours, educating customer support agent, setting up the process, managing her or him, and doing all of this when I can just reply to these emails and think, how can I improve my product to get fewer emails like this? So maybe if I will get 50 emails per day and there is like no way to optimize, that's a good idea to hire a person. But for now, I think we are still very early, still very small business, and I don't see any to hire anyone. But I definitely don't want to raise money. I think if hiring is like, let's see, but raising money, I think that's, kind of not for me, because I am very against this idea of growth at all costs. Let's just grow, let's just grow, let's just send those marketing emails every 4 hours, let's just grow. So I think this is something I experienced, and that was one of the worst parts of building a startup. You need to increase the numbers for some reason every month. Like every month, no. you should be better. You need to be better. And
I agree with that, but I don't agree to do it at an extreme level like you do in startup. Like you cannot breathe in startup. Like it's not reasonable. Like, but I believe because the startup mindset is very like go big or go home. So there are no middle way. Where I was saying that with Nico a few days ago, like on the podcast, is like, for me, because of bootstrapping, we will have more and more business who serve tiny niche, and many users will have better experience in their life because these tiny products are just targeting them and don't try to make like milliard with it. Just like make good money, and that's very nice for the makers. That's very nice for the users. Everyone is happy. You don't need to put a VC in the middle who wants like to X10 or X30 in money.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I think you're on the. I wanted to return on the topic of support, because like for me, in the first startup I'm working on, we directly hire someone doing support like very, very quickly, and then we started to like try to grow the product, focus on marketing, blah 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 stuff. And after 6 months, the guy was like, I cannot. I will quit. It's too much work. We're growing too fast. He was super angry. Users were angry because something was not working, and he was in his bubble. And so, because he was the son of the CEO, the CEO say, okay, we need to help my son, and everyone will do 1 day of support by month, or something like that, to give him a bit of air to breathe. First day, I went to do support instead of coding. After 5 minutes, I saw he was doing like thousands of times the same fucking task. And if we could have taken 5 minutes to look at the product and look at what he was doing, we will see like why he's doing that. This is useless. The product can do it for him. And like he was like, I think he was saturated at 1,000 users by day. So not everyone has a problem, but it was 1,000 delivery kind of by day.
Mm.
And it was like maximum for him. I did 1 day support. Next day I did coding. It was at 10,000 capability by day. He like extend his number, and it was like super easy now. 10,000 easy. Before 1,000 he was dying. And I was like,
Yeah,
so for me, I don't want to delegate the support. We have to, as founders, to receive these messages, because we
yeah,
will see the frustration of users and improve the experience and make everything easier. It's better to make your tool, or change the color of a button or something because they don't see it, than
yeah,
to pay someone at support to do it for them. And the person in support is not often like, his job is to do support, so he will not tell you how to kill his job, basically. So you
yeah,
will just have more support people. Like if you ask the person of support, he'll say, how high can you help you better? It's like, bring a second person.
yeah,
It's not
yeah,
like kill the bugs or stuff like that.
yeah. And
So yeah,
what is
definitely.
especially problematic, I think, with approach like, oh, you should outsource as soon as possible. I think it's the mindset problem. When people say that, they kind of imply, oh, you need to be focused on, coding. You need to be focused on
Mhm.
building the product. But um, replying to your customers is part of the business. It's not like a thing that you should avoid. No, people paid for the product. You build the product. You kind of are responsible for talking to the customers. It's not a
Yeah.
thing you need to super optimize. No, it's okay to reply to your customer emails. I do it. I read a lot of tips on Twitter. Oh, never open like customer support before like lunch, deep work session, and then open. No, I open the first thing in the morning. I like wake up
Me
and
too. Yeah.
yeah, I see emails. I want to help people. Like, why would a person wait for 5 more hours to solve the bug when I can solve it right away? It won't impact my productivity. If it impacts my productivity, then it's probably the bigger issue for today, and it's a good focus for today. So I don't know. Um, I I I think that's very different. Like that's why I'm different from a lot of people in the hacker community. I'm not a developer from the past, and building the product, shipping features. It's
Becoming day
not
by
my
day.
yeah, it's not my number one goal of the day. My number one goal is to make money that day, and to increase revenue, to make happier
Yeah,
customers. And customer support is definitely in top three of that day.
I totally agree with you, man. Like I had this debate with my intern this morning. I think he was like, "Okay, what's the next feature you should build?" He said, "Dude, look the users in the Discord and look what they're struggling with. That's what you're gonna fix. That's how we're gonna make good money, is to make them satisfied, not by doing new
Yeah,
features." And I was like,
yeah,
"No, it's developer." But yeah, I don't understand why, as a developer, I understand, because this is way more funny to build like a feature than to fix a bug, or like make a client more happy. Like but yeah, that's something a bit dumb. But coming back to the topic of, you said something I find now it's even more true about. You said it's better to know the task before delegating it. And I
mm,
think there are very, very good example of that now. Is like, try to ask ChatGPT to do something you never done before. The result are the results, it will be shit probably, because it doesn't understand exactly what's the expectation of you and your context. So you're not able to shape the context properly because you don't know what you talk about. So then the result will be very approximative. I see that in coding. When I ask something, for example, in a code I don't understand, or a language I don't understand, the result is like, doesn't make any sense. And then I did some research and ask better the question, and then you have a good answer. And I think
yeah,
this is the same with hiring people. If you can hire people only if you have a good question to them to resolve. Otherwise, you just like do shit with that.
yeah. Absolutely. I think if you go and hire someone to, for example, do SEO again, and they just come and say, okay, let's, write blog post articles about that topic, or, let's optimize page speed report. I mean, that's very cool. But like, if you have been doing SEO for the first 3 months and you already know the impact of those decisions, you will see that, it's not very good. And I think also it's setting up the right expectations. A lot of people hire others, hire agencies, hire
Yeah.
freelancers, and they have something like a very delusional goal in mind. And when you previously have done it, you will have a much more reasonable goal. You will be happy, you will be calmer, you will not feel like other person is bullshitting you. So again,
Yeah.
that's what I say about
Because the
marketing.
problem is you bullshit yourself, in fact, and then you ask someone to try to bullshit you the way you want, but then it doesn't work.
Yeah, man, that's very true. Yeah, so that's what I advise too with marketing. When you just have your product, and you're like unsure what marketing to do some marketing first. Don't go and get a coach, don't buy a course, don't do any of this. Just go and do some marketing, and you will see what are the problems. Okay, maybe the problem is you can't get traffic. Okay, now you have a specific problem to solve. There are like multiple solutions to this. Or maybe your landing page is shit. Okay, again, solve this problem. When you just try to get like, I want to learn the whole topic. No, it doesn't work like this. Any expert that is promising you to teach you all the topic, it's if they will give very high level stuff that won't help you a lot. So that's my tip. I think maybe in some cases it's better to delegate. For example, like when I was like let's say opening a company, I will go and consult with an advisor because the like possible consequences of making a bad decision there is much
Yeah.
higher than just like by posting a blog post article that doesn't get any views. So obviously there are use cases, but when we talk about marketing, design, product development, support, it's usually good to do things on your own, understand your limitations, and then find a way to optimize. But most of the time you will see that you don't need to optimize anything. If you get 5 emails per day, cool, answer 5 emails per day.
Yeah, but you said something very funny, like about like for admin stuff, for creating your company, you will consult someone. And lately, I've opened a company because I'm creating an eco village in Madeira, and we fully delegated to a company this to create the company because what we want is like we have to have some associate and stuff like that. So we say, okay, set up the company first. We pay, we have the money, you set up. And we didn't look at it. We fully delegate, and they did something bad because they didn't knew what we wanted. We wanted to augment the capital every often, and the model they choose is not made for that. So they say, if you want to do that, we have to change the company and repay everything again. So even for that, I believe you have to do your own research because you're not capable to communicate exactly what you have in your mind. So if you don't do research and bring some material already on the conversation, then the person will not understand. He will just go to the things he knows, for example, or the latest topic he's seen, or the latest things he's seen should be cool to do, and he will totally forget about your need because it's very hard to know what you have in your mind. Unless he's very good at asking questions, but not everyone is. It's better to do your own research, I believe, even for that topic.
Yeah, and that's why I'm usually more pro like get a consultancy call instead of hiring an agency. A consultancy call will cost you a few $100s in almost all industries. You will have 30 to 60 minutes to ask everything you have. It will push you to do some research before the call. It will push you to connect the dots, and it will give you more time to think about this. When you just hire an agency, you're like, just okay, guys, just do whatever you do, and
Yeah, do
You
magic,
ask,
then I pay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You ask 100 entrepreneurs, they will say the magic will very often be, not correct. So yeah, I definitely don't
Yeah,
want to
you're right
hire
about
agencies.
the consulting.
I think agency is a very good thing to sell if you are looking to make some money and become profitable. But as a consumer, I think agencies are like not the very efficient way to solve problems.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. Oh, unless you have like a problem you have often, and then it's very easy to, you have really a good overview of what you need, and then an agency
Mm.
can do it for you.
Yeah,
But
maybe, maybe.
unless that, yeah, that doesn't make much sense. But yeah, you have bring a topic on the table, like also because like we're talking about the consultancy and the way you can start your marketing, but there are another way to start your marketing. Another way I know because of you, which is your product. So we should talk about Founderpal. What is Founderpal?
Yeah, so Founderpal is I would say AI marketing platform for solopreneurs. We mostly build tools that save you time doing marketing. So, for example, instead of brainstorming and spending 2 hours, what marketing ideas you can do, you can just click a button, get a very good result with your context, and just go and do this idea. And I think this is what we have like a philosophy of this platform. Right now, we
Hmm.
have one big paid product is marketing strategy generator, which is all about like high level stuff. In what direction you should do your marketing. And we're building a new paid product. I hope it will be
Out.
it will yeah, it will be launched, it will be successful, but for now I don't want to talk about this. And yeah, we mostly create this and just to
We
probably give some ideas like why is it happening, why can I just go to chat GPT and all of this. I think there are a few good reasons. First, most marketing platforms, they are built for, VC-backed companies, big
yeah.
corporations, and they just don't think about these like small one-person businesses, which have a very different approach to marketing. If you just like you have a solopreneur with a to-do app, and their marketing strategy will be very different from a to-do app that raised like $5 million. And I think that's a
Hmm.
difference not a lot of platforms have in mind, we have in mind. And secondly, I think a lot of marketing platforms, in my opinion, they just, they just do the job just like, the cheapest, the cheapest way possible. Yeah. So like, okay, you need something about marketing strategy. Here is like, I don't know, lean canvas for you. Here is like SWOT
Yeah,
analysis.
it's
Okay,
so
here,
outdated in
yeah,
a way.
yeah, like they will rather optimize for a very short prompt, so they have less costs than giving you a better result. And I don't like that. And I like building what like is valuable for me. And I think we just try to put more personal touch in every tool that we build and, just do it differently. So, yeah.
Yes. Also, I think you find very good hack because like when you ask so I am a client of your tool, of course, and when you ask your tool, for example, like to evaluate your landing page, is like, I think most of makers will be angry, like if you were you, Dan, saying like your landing page is shit. But if it's a tool saying that, you kind of laugh at it. You're like, yeah, okay. It's way more received. And something I like in what you've done is, I could use ChatGPT to ask things of marketing, and I do it already. But the problem is, like as we said earlier, I'm not so much an expert in marketing, so I don't know what I'm asking properly. And in your tool, I'm guided with clear
Yeah.
questions that make me think I don't know my client, that make me think I don't have a nice niche. Many things I realize just with the question already I'm doing wrong, but that helped me
Yeah.
to think through it. And thanks to this question, you will ask the right thing to the IA, and the answer is very, very qualitative. Like I was
Yeah.
super impressed by the quality. I've showed that to many people
Thank
around
you.
me. It's like, wow, dude, It's so cool because you know what is important in marketing and isn't. So then it makes you shape the IA the right way. You know, the wrapper, the
Yeah,
quality is how you wrap it. You wrap it. It's
yeah,
not
yeah,
like
yeah.
ChatGPT. It's like what you do with it, and that's very good. And that's helped me to understand many things in marketing because that's how also
Mm.
show people who don't understand marketing how you think about marketing. It's kind of a
Mm.
dump in your brain in a certain way, and I think this is very helpful for this reason. The tool. So if you don't buy, didn't buy it now, I don't know what to say. Buy it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a good marketing. That's for sure a good marketing. So I think um, people mostly buy our products and like hire us for this job. They just don't want to spend hours writing their prompts. So they would rather pay $100.
Yeah,
So I will write 2,000 word prompts and they just can click a button. I think a lot of people, and I was saying this for like 6 months probably, people just would rather click buttons than chat with AI because clicking button requires zero thinking. You just click a button, okay, you can choose some drop downs, it's very easy. Um, but when you chat with AI, you need to
it's raining
understand the
crazy on your side,
question.
right?
Man, I think that's like, it's like I'm in Madeira right now. Yeah, I hope
Yes.
it's,
Are you in the shower?
man.
It's intense.
Yeah. So like, if that's a last
Yeah.
recording of me, you know what's happened. Is it okay with quality, or should we pause?
Yeah. Honestly, I'm scared you're gonna die. It's
I
crazy.
I hope this building is okay, but
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah, continue.
so it's much easier to just click a button, then think of the question, think of criteria, think of formatting. Just writing is much more harder for an average population than clicking a button, and that's what we do. And I think that's what a good take on like what AI wrappers you can build. Just find a niche in which it's easier to click a button than to write a big prompt. And that's it. You don't need anything else. Just write good prompts, make UI uh, more friendly than ChatGPT, which is not very hard. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Okay, man. Thanks. I don't know if everyone will hear what you said, but thanks for that. This is getting crazy. It's insane. I think we can continue on my other questions if I manage to hear you. Uh,
I think I changed the mic. I hope it's a little bit better, but I'm not sure.
ah, it seems so better. Or did it stop, or it's
No, no,
better?
no. I think I just fixed a little bit. Or maybe I'm just, already like in the ocean swimming.
Yes, it's okay. The house is underwater already. You're safe. Oh God, that was intense. Okay, thanks a lot for the explanation. The explanation of Founderpal. I would like to know what's the business model of Founderpal. Like, how do you? Because I know you changed from the Makerbox to Founderpal. You changed the model. So what
Hmm.
are you changed now, and how it's working?
So just to explain, we have a marketing strategy generator. In this product, people create marketing strategies for their products. So think of like there is like marketing strategy for product X, product Y, product Z,
Mm-hmm.
and we mostly sell, you know, one-time payment access to like generate this strategy, and we sell either you have an opportunity to create one marketing strategy or unlimited marketing strategies. We started to sell it as a lifetime deal, so it was like, you have these credits forever and everything, and that helped us to get some traction in the beginning, but now we switched to like 1 year annual pass. So it's like for 12 months. In 12 months, you can't generate new strategies, but you have access to the one you generated, which I think is a fair deal. And yeah,
Yeah.
we sell one-time payments. So I think it would help to think of it as an annual subscription without a recurring part. So we only sell annual accesses. They just don't recur automatically in 1 year. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's very interesting because I thought like the way you do it was very nice, but it could lead you to at one point inverse the cost and the revenue because like the IA stuff. But yeah, 1 year is like pretty perfect because like it's enough for people to try it and to use it, and if you still keep the strategy you have done,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
And
a very good
also
model.
OpenAI hopefully only decreases the price of the API, which is very nice. I mean, I hope it
Yes.
won't suddenly start increasing them. Uh, so that's very good. A lot of people are scared of selling one-time payments in AI products, but I think like my tip would be first calculate your costs. A lot of times people overestimate how expensive each run of their product is. Like we have huge prompts, like huge, like
Mm-hmm.
7,000 tokens for this. And we
Oh
have
wow.
pretty large
Yeah.
results, but it's still, I wouldn't say very expensive. I wouldn't say it's cheap, but like it's not it's not the cost. When I look at this, my heart stops. No, and
Yes.
a lot of people in that way think, oh, I need to charge subscription, I need to give limits, but like maybe, but maybe start with a simpler monetization model. You can always add limits later. You can always introduce soft limits that won't impact 99% of users and they won't bother about this. But maybe start with a simpler monetization strategy and you will see a lot of things that you have in mind that you were scared are not really true and you can survive with one-time payments and all of this.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. Can you share like how much, like in ratio, for example, your costs represent compared to your revenue? You're like close to a SaaS in a way?
I can definitely share costs. So OpenAI, again, luckily introduced GPT 4.0 this month,
Yeah.
and it's decreased our API cost significantly. I would say that like next month, with like significant chunk of new customers, and we have a free demo in which people can generate part of the strategy for free. So that's like the significant cost for us because people can try the platform for free and then upgrade. It's not the full strategy, but like the
Yeah.
first part, but it's just costs. And we give GPT for all for them and not just GPT 3.5. I would say it will be less than $250. I would expect $300 is max. I
Okay.
don't think it will go further. And just to give again the sense of revenue, at the same time, I would expect the product to reach like 15K of revenue. So it's not really super high. It's not nothing,
Yeah, it's
but
pretty good.
it's it's it, it's a few sales and the costs are covered.
Yeah, yeah. I have like 4,000 revenue and I have the same cost. So
Mm.
you're definitely doing good. That's very nice. Okay, thanks for sharing that. I know like not everyone is sharing like numbers, and when we have numbers, is I think the most insightful for people to understand like what they can do, like because you're making very good revenue and you are selling like one-time payments. So this is one of the
Mm.
proof again, like you don't need to charge monthly if your costs are not so
Yeah.
high or if you want to get it started. But just even like thinking about as a technical side, like making recurrent revenue is super hard. I mean, there are many templates, like you can get the template of Mark for doing it for you. But if you're not starting with a template, then it will take you kind of time, even on Bubble or any platform, to do
Yeah.
recurrent revenue handling because you need to handle cancellation and everything. If you do one time, it's just you put a fucking click or Stripe and then you redirect people to a page you didn't put the URL publicly, and that's it. It works. You can
Yeah.
you're done on payment. Next
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, that can help you a lot to prove yourself and what you're building that it makes sense. Because if people pay for one time, then you know this is not bullshit what you're building, because that's what mostly we do when we not
yeah,
validate the
yeah.
idea correctly.
Yeah, and
Uh,
again, to just clarify about the costs, so obviously OpenAI is not the only cost we have. It's
yeah.
one of the most significant costs for Founderpal and for our business in general. The other two is ConvertKit for email marketing and Xano for our backend. So we use not Bubble's backend, but a separate no-code backend, which is called Xano, which is super great, and I love it, but it's also significant cost. And we have more obviously tools, but that's like these three tools are three digits, let's say.
You're a back-end no-code developer now,
Man,
thanks to
it's
no-code
crazy.
tools. That's amazing. Yeah.
Sometimes I even write some JavaScript. So, it's with ChatGPT, obviously.
Oh, yeah, yeah, of course, of course. Like, funnily, yesterday or this weekend, I had a friend. He was like, "Oh, I have this project I want to make for the community I'm working on, and like we got some quotes, but it was super expensive. I'm sure I can do these things, like do MVP in ChatGPT." And I was like, "Yeah, I think you can do it," because he knew to code, like he was coding before, and then he went to project management. So I was like, "Yeah, with the basic of what you know, you can make it." And he started, and yesterday he started to tell, like, I already some result. The things start to work. He spent like just 1 day and a half on it, and he has like
Yeah.
the base. If you're not like overthinking and make very simple tasks to give to the IA, you can really like do pretty good. Like I think now most of my work is just teaching GPT to do what I want, most than coding it. And I am a developer, so
I
IA
don't,
changing the world.
unfortunately, you can't really use a lot of AI in no code, but you can definitely help to resolve issues like when you are stuck. But yeah, I still manually need to drag and drop stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, like if you're building in Bubble, definitely this is a
Mm,
limitation. In a way,
mm,
that's funny because you have the most easy tool, but then that's the less easy to debug with AI.
yeah,
Maybe you can send with the new ChatGPT for Mac. Maybe you can screenshot and have help. I don't know how it will work, but yeah, definitely for now you're kind of going for the old way. While when you code, you can debug. But you have also access to JavaScript and other things. So
yeah, true.
I think for me, no code is kind of an enabler so big for makers. Even uh, me or Mark or whatever, like makers, we kind of use also tools. No, so it's not much no code. It will be like solution you call low code. For
Yeah,
example, instead of using a database like Postgres, MySQL and stuff, you have to handle yourself, and then you do a backend yourself and blah, blah, blah. And you spend hours doing shit which is useless. I use one company named Superbase where
yeah.
you directly can connect to the database without doing the backend. And that's magic. And many developers are like, "Oh, this is so bad." And I'm like, I don't fucking care. I don't care so bad. I have no fucking backend, man, and I'm handling millions of users a day. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, yeah, do your database yourself.
Yeah,
Ouais.
yeah. I think about no code kind of this way. I mean, in 2 years, I could definitely learn some JavaScript and, start coding the products. But for me, when I think about this, the key question is, why do I want to do this? Do I want just to play status games and feel like I'm just a part of some social
Yeah.
group? And, or is there a problem that can't be solved with no code? Because at this point of time, I feel myself very comfortable at Bubble. I can ship really fast. Like if 1 year ago, I was like a total newbie. Now I can iterate really fast. I can solve problems really fast, and I'm building fairly simple tools. So Founderpal, the key work is writing prompts in Apple
Yeah.
Notes and designing good UI in Figma. Everything else is fairly simple. It's not very simple. There is backend work and, like some database stuff, but like it's fairly simple. Why would I go and spend like, let's say, 2 to 3 months to learn basics of coding, redo the product there? It's just waste of time when I can just go and build a product in Bubble. And people say, oh, you pay $32 per month for Bubble, whatever. But like the
Yeah.
cost of me learning coding and not doing any marketing, not shipping anything will be much higher. So at some point of life, I think I will learn coding if I have a product idea which can only be built in, like in coding environment. But still, I don't think that's like this year or next year. Right now, I want to build simple tools, simple tools so I can enjoy uh, more interesting
You know,
sides of life and business.
if you don't do it in the next 3 months, I don't believe you will need this skill ever.
Mm,
I think we're going so fast in AI stuff
yeah.
than and and no code and stuff like I think that will be useless. Like for
It,
you will
it,
have
it,
other ways.
it feels like, a regex. So like even like 6 years ago when I was in university taking like, data
Hmm.
science minor, I was like, okay, here is like regex thing to find special text in your text.
Yeah.
Okay. And some people, they were like studying how to write regex. And I was like one of these people. I was like, oh, so you use like this symbol for this. But
Point.
now yeah, nobody thinks about this. They just go to ChatGPT or Google. There is like a really good website for regex, and they just go and solve the problem. Every time it happens. So maybe this will be the case for simple tools. Also, like you just go and use AI tools to generate simple tools. Maybe for more complicated tools, it will be different. There will be like hardcore coding. But again, the question is, do I want to build those complicated tools or do I want to build simpler tools? And for now, I prefer to build simple businesses.
Yeah, yeah. No, I totally agree with that. And funnily, one of the two main pain points in my life of developer have been using database and SQL and doing regex. And now both of them are done by ChatGPT. I'm like, yeah, do it, my friend. I
Yeah,
test and it doesn't work. Okay, do it again. That's the
yeah,
message error.
yeah,
Yeah, that's something very, very neat, definitely. And I'm super happy ChatGPT exists. I will be very sad if ChatGPT stopped to exist and I have to do regex myself again.
yeah. That's a lost productivity for everyone in the
Yeah,
world.
yeah, yeah. When I started to work with my intern, he was not using IA. I was like, no, that's I will put you all the tools and use them, man. Like otherwise you're useless. You're losing time. But yeah. There are also, I think you were saying something about like currently and what you could do in future, but for me, it's like Peter Level, he become kind of a meme that he was doing everything in one file in PHP,
Yeah,
super dirty, broken. I think for you, and I already told you that, this is kind of a marketing strategy to say, fuck off, I'm not coding, and I'm making more money than you. I think this is something that can like be your yeah, make you grow even faster because like you have something people can hate you for, which is super easy, and most of developer will. But in fact, what you're doing and what you sell about marketing is very valuable for them. So they will hate you but love you in the same time. It's like fuck him. But okay, I'm buying his shit.
yeah, yeah. It's like as you said, like a thing with Superbase. Maybe in theory, in 0.001% of cases, that's actually a very bad idea to use Supabase for this product, or to have
Mm,
everything in one PHP file, or have a one database with every piece of content. And again, there are cases in which it's true. For example, um, for Marketplace Generator, we have a lot of databases. And some people, and I think Peter Levels does that, he has like one database, just one database, just
mm,
like everything, you know. Again, the correct mindset is to try to do the job as simpler as possible every time. If you can do as a solopreneur simple, do it simple, because we don't have like the team leverage. So we can't have a very big task done in an efficient way. Every time we do something, we need to find the leverage. Okay, your leverage is that you will do everything in one database, and this will increase your speed of shipping by like 50%. Cool. Maybe that's a good idea. Maybe you use no code, low code tool for backend. Again, increases your speed. Cool, great. And that's a good mindset. And I think this is something I experienced with Smooth recently. So just for context, we built an internal tool which is called Smooth for ourselves to deliver access to files, because people were buying MakerBox products on Lemon Squeezy, on Stripe. They were kind of lost in the process, and we thought like we can have a better tool to deliver access to files, and we built it. And first of all, it was mainly for us, and then we decided to launch it publicly. And I think that was like my first proper SaaS, no AI. And that was the moment when like thinking backwards, when I started to over-engineer things. I started to say, oh, we need to cover this edge case. It's very important. We can't launch with it. And again, like obviously it's very clear right now that we didn't need to cover any of those edge cases. We needed to launch like as soon as possible and iterate, and not to over-engineer the products, and not to make a security your number one priority before you have like one paying customer. Maybe you have like an okay security, and then you have paying customers, and maybe then at some point of time you improve your security. So I think always reminding solopreneurs to keep things simple is a very good thing. It's not always the case. Sometimes you can use these shortcuts, sometimes you can't, but like that's a very good North Star when building products.
I totally agree, mate. I'm also very happy to see like more you're getting technical, more you're doing the same mistake as us. It's reassuring. I feel less dumb.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks for that. Okay, so now I think we can go a bit to my question about the future. So earlier you were talking about a project you're building you don't want to talk about. Just to give you context, this podcast will probably get out in 1 month. So if you want to talk about something, because if you believe it will be released in 1 month, you can. And otherwise, what are the next step right now? What are you working on, and what are you trying to optimize right now?
Yeah. So I think we were building Smooth to make it public launch for maybe a month and a half, something like this. And when we launched this, like I think on the next day we launched this, I realized I don't really want to work on two SaaS at one time, like Founderpal and Smooth. And when I was building it, I had so much excitement. And then I shipped it, and I realized I don't really want to touch it. I don't want to fix it. I don't want to ship product. I mean, we've done some things. We went to user interviews that didn't end up really well. We didn't get good, validation on here. And on that very moment, it just hit me. I need to focus on Founderpal. I don't need to try to get the second product profitable. I have a winning product right now. I have a product that generates most of my income. I need to focus on it. And I think before 5 months, I was very hesitant. Should I do it or shouldn't? But now I'm very clear. I need to just grow Founderpal to like 20, 30, 40K, whatever. So my number one goal this year is to make Founderpal double or triple its revenue. So right now it's let's say from 10K to hopefully 15K, something like this. This is like the Founderpal right now. And what I want, I want to happen like 20 really soon. but hopefully by the end of this year, usually September, October, November are very hot months, something closer to 30K. And that's my number one focus. I don't want to build anything else. I don't want to start new SaaS. I just want to grow existing product that, survived the validation period. How will I do this? That's a good
Exactly
question.
what I wanted to ask.
So I think, first of all, I want to launch a second paid product that will use subscriptions because it's more recurring usage, and I'm doing it for around content creation and SEO. Let's say right now, I'm building it like I was building it before the podcast. So we're building it, we're using it internally, we're trying to make it better, and then launching to people. I'm very, very, very cautious here not to make the same mistakes with Smooth. So I try to think, okay, how can I make it simpler? Okay, how can I launch faster? So I hope I can do this and not over-engineer again. But then it's just marketing. So I think,
Let's make a challenge. You have to release it before I release the podcast. It's a race.
man,
It's a race.
wow. Yeah, let's see. That's a good deadline. I hope you will need some time, a few months to release that podcast. I can over-engineer at that time. So
Now I will start to contact the guy on Fiverr to do the editing of 3 podcasts. So he will do the editing of 3 podcasts, and then I will start to release every week. So it will probably take 4
oh wow.
weeks. So you have
Okay.
4 more weeks.
Okay. I hope the fever guy will
It's
add
slow.
some ocean and ships when the rain was really strong. So
Yes.
my take is I want to build a second paid product which will act like an upsell in Founderpal.
Of Founderpal, yeah.
Yeah. And then just do a lot of marketing, a lot of new marketing that I haven't done before. So, for example, I have never done marketing landing pages for different keywords. So let's say you have marketing strategy generator. What you can do, you can have 10 landing pages like marketing strategy for agencies or marketing strategy for mobile apps. And there will be like a simpler version of your landing page with like keyword and unique video, unique text. I have never done it. I want to do it. I want to try it because I've talked to some people. I've talked to Tim from Pali, and he said like it's a good thing. And I think Tim is very inspirational in terms of SEO. So I'm glad he existed. He existed. No, he exists. Just casually killed
What
Tim
have you
on
done
the
to him?
podcast. Oh no. So second thing I want to do, I want to try to build more interesting free tools. For now, I was shipping kind of similar free AI wrappers. So most of them like describe your product, describe your audience, and get a business plan, for example. I want to do something more challenging. For example, create a directory of some marketing ideas, let's say, and see how it goes. So that's a big SEO push this year. Let's see how other things going. Nico is definitely pushing me to try Facebook ads, and maybe he will succeed. But like, if
Let's go.
He just wants more tweets about his Facebook expertise. So yeah, that's understandable. So to summarize, one more paid product, but I think that's it. Because 2 products is something good enough to focus and build features, and then just do a lot of marketing in SEO, probably ads.
Yeah, and it's an upsell of your current product, so it's in the same galaxy. So it makes sense.
Yeah.
A question related to that, because like you said, okay, now you're trying to build it, and then in one or a certain period you release it and try to make it pay. why you didn't go to the way like I make a landing and I show to my current user a pay button and they pay and they know they pre-book the thing, why you don't pre-sell?
I was doing a lot of pre-sales in early days of MakerBox when we were just like about to launch a digital product. I think about pre-sale, there are like a few things to consider. First, if your product is one-time payment, okay, cool. You can like probably, very easily organize the whole pre-sale thing. When it's a subscription, it's a little bit harder. What do you pre-sale?
Yeah.
Is it like an annual subscription? But if your product costs, let's say, $50 per month, the annual will be, let's say, $500 per month. Even with the discount, it still will be like $200-300. It's not a no-brainer price for a early bird when all you are shown is just a video of something. Most importantly,
Yeah,
I
but
think,
also they have the trust of you already. You will
uh,
do it only to
yeah,
people who know you.
that's true.
Oh,
But
yeah.
like, I think the second, more importantly, is why do you need validation? Like, some people, like, if I get no sales, will I not build this product or I will build it anyway? So like, am I not sure?
Mm.
I mean, I'm 100% sure I want to build this product because I want to use it in my business. And I
Yeah,
think
you
there
have
is,
this kind of
yeah,
thing, your
yeah,
dog fooding, so it's good.
yeah. So, and I think there is interest outside of this because people requested this in the product, people outside requested this, and I see a clear problem. I don't need validation because it won't change my decision. I will build it anyway.
Yeah, it's
Um,
useful.
yeah. And that's what I don't do. And I don't like this idea of just, kind of using your audience, like, oh, here is just landing page. I don't have anything. Here is just like a buy button, you trust me. I kind of want a little bit more, um, I want people to feel more comfortable paying me money. So they don't pay and think, what if this guy scams us? What if this guy delivers a shit version? I want to build something good, show to them and say like, look, this is good. You think it's good. It's time to pay money. And they feel comfortable paying the money, than just, promising them something good. So that's why I don't do validation. Again, I'm not sure how much time will I need to refine the product,
Mhm.
but let's see. I will definitely do a lot of things with my audience. I will ask them for beta test, but like that's different. I built something and I want to get feedback to make it better because like
Yeah.
it is useful. I just want it to make more useful and more convenient. But for now, I'm not looking to, is it something people need or not? I think I'm pretty, it's also a big difference. How much do you know your audience? When you're just getting started,
Yeah,
do
yeah.
do
It's pre-sale is
pre-sales,
more important. Yeah.
yeah, do beta tests. When you don't know anything about your audience, you don't know what language to use, what design to use, do it. Every landing page of MakerBox in the first year was roasted by people. Every time we built something 2 weeks before the launch, we would say on Twitter, okay, so here is an opportunity to destroy our landing page, reply and I will DM you the link every time. And people replied
Yeah.
and we get feedback. At one point, we stopped getting new useful feedback because we learned everything we need
New,
to know.
better, the
Yeah. And, of course, some people will still say some bad things, but if that's one person out of 10 who mentions these things, it's just a personal opinion. In the beginning, of course, like 10 people would say, your pricing sucks, okay, your hero block sucks. Okay, let's remake this. So at Founderpal, I feel comfortable right now building things without doing a lot of, you know, asking for permission from customers, but I definitely try to get ideas from them, give them products, give them features to iterate. And I think this product, because it's a new territory for me, I will do a lot of beta tests, but not validation. No.
Yeah, okay, clear. Thanks for that. That makes a lot of sense because I believe like there's something we miss sometimes. Like methods work for a moment in the life of a project or an entrepreneur, but not always. Like if you are in the niche already, like for long, like doing validation will maybe give you some insight, but it's not
Yeah.
the best way anymore to get insights. And because you have contact to people, you can do differently. Doing the beta, for example, is a better
Yeah.
way to have insights because you
Mm.
already knows things about them, so you just need to validate the end form, not the starting form in a way.
Yeah.
So it's better the beta in that way.
I
So
think a good
thanks a lot.
example that I know is Nico when he was like thinking about building his first digital product, which was a course about Facebook, obviously.
Yeah.
We were in a group chat and he was like super hesitant. I remember he was like, "Oh, I don't think anyone needs this." Like me and Mark, we kind of pushed him to do this. So like maybe he had this idea he wanted to do, but he was super hesitant to actually do that because
Mm-hmm.
he was thinking like, "Oh, maybe indie hackers don't care about Facebook ads, or maybe he will, be recognized as guru." And we kind of pushed him. And for in his use case, early bird was a kind of trust signal that yes, actually people care, and he has enough authority, and that pushed him to create this course. And that's good. That's a very good thing. I mean, again, I know some people, I know Mark and some of his products, when he's absolutely sure about the product, he doesn't do early birds. He just launched
Mm-hmm.
things,
Yeah, yeah.
and even if it's a big product, he just launches. So yeah,
I agree. I think that's very contextual. That's the problem. Like nothing works for every situation. And you
yeah,
cannot use a hammer to to screw. It doesn't work. So yeah, choose the best tool.
true.
Or recommendation. Think. Use your brain. Okay, I think we can go to my final question for the podcast. Thanks a lot for this moment. I think that was very useful and that will be useful for many people.
Okay,
Okay, so did you add like a sentence or something you will have wished to know before you start your journey being an entrepreneur, solopreneur?
man, definitely collect more emails in the beginning. That's definitely something that was like first very big insight for me. Just to elaborate, I think people who spend a lot of time on Twitter, every month
Mm-hmm.
you spend too much time on Twitter, you just become closer and deeper in the bubble of like this tech Twitter, indie hackers Twitter, and you just don't uh, realize what is the average person doing. And we kind of think like, oh, I just need to launch a tool, and like that's my marketing. That's launch tweet is my marketing. If it doesn't make me 10K on the first day, it's a bad product, because we are so in the bubble. We have this mindset. And like an average customer, they they search you on Google, they need 5 to 7 customer touch points, they read your
Yeah,
emails, and they want to make sure you are not scammer and like you are a legit person. They check reviews on other websites. And I think email was kind of the first point to realize that. Before that, I was like kind of in a way, oh, let's do fancy indie marketing, indie hackers, Twitter, product hunt. But then you realize only broke indie makers hang out there. They're not buying anything. They're different.
yeah,
Customer behavior is different, and people with money, like they are actually, in Google. They actually read emails, and that was the first point for me to collect emails. And that was also the moment I realized the power of marketing funnel, and not like this, not like something a click funnel type of thing, multiple things, multiple
yeah. You don't
offers,
need to do it
webinars.
so far.
Yeah, the idea is very simple. Just when you think about marketing funnel, just three things. First, how you will attract high quality traffic every day. because we tend to think about product hunt launch or Twitter launch, but that's one day, just one day.
Yeah.
And like the question is, what do you do next week? So that's first step. Second step, how do people understand your product's value? And again, we are programmed to only do landing pages, but maybe it's not enough. Maybe you need to have a very good free demo, free trial. Maybe you need to have a newsletter. Maybe you need to have a freebies to really to communicate the value of your product. And the third, basically, what is the pricing? What is the no-brainer pricing? How do you help people to buy right now? And email thing was the first step that I took to realize, I just do fancy indie marketing, and there is boring marketing that I need to do to have a sustainable business. And the day I started doing emails, it wasn't a win instantly. No, it was
Of course,
iterations.
takes time.
Of course, first email sequences, first freebies, they totally suck. But at some point, we realized some things, and the business became much more sustainable. The first year, I mentioned, it felt like a rat race. Every month, you need to launch something to make money, to make living, because the product from the previous month, it's not selling good. The sales are spike, and then they're dying.
And choo.
Yeah. And when I realized that's because I don't have marketing funnel, that's because I only think about launch tweets and product hunt launches, that was the moment I started to fix that. So I think that's a very big idea, and I'm definitely one of the, I would probably say, the loudest person
About that on Twitter.
Yeah, about don't have this I just launch and see what sticks strategy, because I think that's not a scam, but that's a delusional promise, delusional take that we have in community. I mean, we can go deeper into that topic if you want to talk. Yeah.
There's so many delusional things in the community. I have a more technical question, I think, on the marketing funnel. I would like how did you design it? That because most people don't know how to do that.
About marketing funnels, right?
Yes.
So again, just to reiterate, it's just 3 questions: traffic, activation, which is how you communicate your product's value, and pricing, how do you convert people. Most of the time, we think about the traffic. When you talk about with indie hacker and they're like, oh, I have low revenue, they mostly think I need more traffic, because we think if I get as many people as possible, at least some people will buy. And that's absolutely irrational thought. Because
that's the strategy of the people asking for upvotes. Exactly what they think.
Yeah. That's your bucket is leaking. And your solution is not to fix the bucket. Your solution is to get more water, but the water will just leak away. So here is how I suggest, and that's what I do with when people ask for advice or something. First of all, start with your with your product, your product and kind of positioning. So you will start from the end, from the conversion part. Is your positioning good? Is it customer oriented? Is your product different from 10 other alternatives? Just to give you an example, to make it a little bit more. Yeah, so for example, let's talk marketing strategy generator. That's something I can give details. So again, pricing. What we could do, build a marketing platform for marketers and charge subscriptions. Okay, that's a meaningful thing to do. But the question is, how are we different from 10 alternatives that are doing just the same? So we do something different. We niche down to solopreneurs. Most people talk to marketers in corporations. That's the first point of conversion optimization. Secondly, we create pricing that is different. It's not subscription. It's a one-time payment. It's easier. So two
Yeah.
steps. We do two small decisions, but our offer is now more desirable to people, to our target audience. So we start from the end. Okay, cool. Now the activation. How do people understand the product's value? Here, like for most of indie hackers who are listening to this, the easiest thing you can do is to improve your landing page. Like start with your landing page. Even forget about emails, free trials, whatever. Man, I've seen so many bad landing pages. I mostly see bad landing pages at this point. Like you don't need you don't need to buy any tool, whatever. I mean, if you buy something, it will definitely be a shortcut for you to get feedback. But just go show your landing page to entrepreneurs, to people from your audience, and just ask them to roast your landing page. If you are listening to this and you are not profitable, I guarantee you your landing page suck. Absolutely. Without an exception, it's a bad landing page. Even if you use Tailwind, whatever, some ShipFast boilerplate, it's not about the design so much. It's more about how you tell a story, how you showcase your product, how you talk about the audience. Work on the way you present your product. So that's the best thing you can do in your marketing funnel. That's the first most important step you can do in your marketing funnel. Then
You know,
maybe,
when you talk about that, that make me think like, you know, for example, when Mark released ShipFast, it got
yeah.
so many copy-paste solution of ShipFast.
Mm,
And then I visited the landing page and I was like, oh my God, they managed to copy it, but they
mm,
don't understand anything about what they're doing because the landing page is shit. Like,
mm.
the point is not like copying the feature.
Yeah,
You go nowhere like that. Ship fast work because he understand the user. He understand
yeah.
his problem. He's talking like him.
And again, just like how the landing page of ShipFast got better because Mark sent it into group chat and me and Nico brutally roasted this. I think I don't remember that. I'm pretty sure I recorded him like a 10-minute video roasting
Yeah.
things, and Nico did the same. And like the first iterations of landing page of ShipFast was shit, and there were no problem agitation. The marketing copy was way weaker than it is now. It's not the problem of Mark. It's a natural thing to build the
Yeah.
shitty version of the landing page. It's what we do because you can't create a masterpiece in vacuum. You need people, you need feedback. And again, if you're listening
Man,
to
I
this,
think we solved the Twitter problem when people like trying to build an audience and say, oh, it's because he has an audience. No, it's because he made good friends. He came to Twitter, he made good fucking friends, and now he can do good landing pages.
yeah, Twitter friends, that's what you need. I
Yeah.
think an audience is, that's another topic. So,
Yeah.
land,
Let's not
land,
derivate.
landing page is the first step you can do. The second step you can do is to try to understand how people will get trust in you, in your product. And there is like a very big topic, but this is one of the most important topic of marketing funnels because, you know, let's say again, you create an AI wrapper and which promises something. Let's say, I don't know, meal plans for people. The question
Mhm.
is how people will understand the value of the product. Okay, some people, it will be enough for them to watch a video and they'll be like, yeah, sounds good. Let's buy it for $20. Okay. For some people, they will need to try a free demo or a free trial. And the truth to be told, that's a very big chunk of users. That most of your customers will be in the second category. For most of your customers, a video will be not enough. That's just how it is. And the third step is like to get reviews, to get mentions from influencers, to get, you know, to get recognized into the community in which you are. So like do this. Most people, man, they just build products that it even looks like they will abandon it in 2 weeks. like
Even
people don't,
before he's born.
people don't buy it, not because it's a bad product, not because it's a bad solution or there is no problem, just because it looks like you will jump to the next product idea in 2 weeks. And why would I buy money? And yeah, so that's a thing you can do. And again, just to mention it, we still don't talk about traffic. First, we fix the pricing and positioning. Second, we
Yeah.
fix landing page and how do you build trust that your product is actually a legit solution and it's good. And first, now, third, okay, how you get traffic. And most people think, again, I will just build in public on Twitter. I will just launch on Product Hunt. I will optimize page speed report. That's all very nice and cute, but like you need.
If I was basing my traffic on Twitter, I would make €0.
Yeah. Man, same. I mean, it's crazy. A market search generator. On Twitter, I mostly get like, oh, I can do this in ChatGPT, oh, that's what is this?
Yeah.
And then like an entrepreneur in Malaysia buys the product for $200 because they just don't want to click buttons in ChatGPT. And that's just, that's a thing. If you are selling to tech-savvy indie hackers who are optimized to cut costs and find the cheapest solution, man, you will not build a lot of businesses. And
Yeah.
the traffic thing, it's a big topic.
There's something I think I can relate on the pricing thing is I build a tool for developers. Basically, Capgo is a tool made for developers. And often I have people, my basic price is €14 a month, which is a bit like expensive for SaaS. I mean, it's good price. And sometimes I have people, they are like, yeah, since you're open source, I will do my server, my backend myself, and I will not use you. And I'm like, I'm very fine with that. Have fun with that. Like, you're a software engineer. You're probably around €100 an hour, something like that. Maybe from cheaper country, you can be cheaper. My plan for a year is like 150. If you do it yourself, that means you have to do it in less than 2 hours. Good luck with that. Otherwise, you're just losing time, and that's I have nothing to do with that. I know you're going to you prefer to spend like hours on that instead of doing a smart thing. So fine, do it open source.
Yeah, I think that's a very good perspective and especially a good attitude if you launch on Hacker News and Reddit. That's something you need to have in mind when you read replies there. So when we talk
it's
about
even in my documentation now. So
wow.
You can do it yourself, open source, but remember how much you cost by hour.
That's good. That's a thing to mention in pricing too. That's really brilliant. And to talk about traffic, here are like my best tips, just like kind of generic, but still. First, stop relying on Twitter and Product Hunt. Stop treating these as your main marketing channels. It's fine that you get some traffic. I get traffic from Twitter. I get traffic from Product Hunt. But like, if this is your marketing strategy in 2024, you will be doomed to have like, I don't know, a few hundreds dollar MRR. There are cases in which Twitter marketing works, but most of cases that you have in your head right now about some like influencer in indie hacking are not true. They usually have it. And for example, I can talk about, I think, Mark a little bit. Sure, Mark monetized part of his Twitter audience for sure, but man, the way his revenue increased when he started doing YouTube, this is like that was the marketing channel. There are more marketing channels like affiliate marketing that work really well for him. If you search on YouTube ship fast, you will see a lot of videos,
thousands of videos
from other and they all have referral link, and that's something that that's very rare to see. I don't think a lot of people in indie hacking community they experienced this, so that's very new. And again, if you think about marketing, you think like, oh, Twitter audience it's definitely a kickstart, but it's not, it's not a marketing strategy. It's not the only part of marketing strategy. So please do yourself a favor. Stop relying on Twitter and Product Hunt only on just make it like 20% of your marketing. Second, find one marketing channel to figure it out in like 3 months. It can be whatever you want. If you're selling B2B SaaS with a good, good price, you can probably do cold outreach. You can do LinkedIn probably with like good content. If this is, more B2C, you need to do ads for sure, or influencer marketing, but this requires money. You can probably find a way to record organic short format videos. That's a thing too. So there are like many channels. My tip is find one channel and just try to figure it out in 1 to 3 months. It will take you time. It will take you iterations. Don't expect quick results. Your first ads will suck. It will have negative ROI, but you need to do it. And then, from this on, you will add more and more and more. And the third tip about SEO is very important. If your product has 0 paying customers, so like close to 0, it's not validated, please don't do SEO, because to get significant results, you need to wait months. High chances are you will pivot your product multiple times. Secondly, it's very competitive in most niches. If you, for example, let's say you have like a to-do app, and you try to do SEO for to-do app, congrats. You are like on the page 200 because, to-do apps before were doing the same thing. Again, sometimes it works. A good example, which is one of my favorite from indie hacker community, is Dmitro with Screenshot One. Like, it's a screenshot API. Not a lot of people are, crazy enough to build one, and Dmitro was one of them. And for him, it was very reasonable because he has this like keyword, and he just wants to be the number one for this keyword, because when people search for screenshot API, there is not so much competition. He can be number one, but in most products, this will be not the case. If, for example, again, let's say Mark tries to, win in SEO with like SaaS boilerplate, I will probably expect him to be like, it will be much more challenging than YouTube or affiliate marketing, because there are so many good open source SaaS boilerplates that it will be hard to market the paid product. But again, sometimes it works if your product is niche down enough. Especially if you build free tools, you can probably rank higher. But again, rule of thumb, if you have 0 paying customers close to it, don't try to do SEO. Even if you have been doing it your whole life, you need a different marketing channel.
Okay, thanks for that. Now we can go to my 3 last question. Very easy and quick to answer. Do you have a favorite quote? Something you like to repeat to yourself?
I think like the first thing that I don't think I have a quote. I think memes is a kind of thing that I remember more vividly, and I think this is like a meme quote.
That works.
Like we do it not because it's easy, but because we thought it will be easy. So I think that's a cool one that explains a lot of things in indie entrepreneurship, and that's a good like stoic approach to building products.
Definitely agree on that. Thanks for this. We'll try to find the meme image with that to show it. I don't know if I can show that in the description, maybe. Okay. Who is the next person I should invite after you in this podcast?
Nico and Mark probably already were here, right?
Nico just before you, and Mark was like 1 year ago, so it's like an OG.
Okay.
Before he was successful.
Yeah. Okay. I would probably say Dmitro if he wasn't here. I think again, one of the best examples of indie hacking, like indie hacker community is often criticized, and like rightfully so, for selling kind of shovels during the gold rush to each other. And that's true. And I think Dmitro is like a good example of building a product that has almost nothing to do with his audience on Twitter, that solves the problem. I'm a happy customer of screenshot one. The product is great, and and he has Kubernetes, so it's also like a kind of fun thing about indie hacker. So I think he's a very inspirational to a lot of people who try to find a little bit more sustainable way in indie hacking.
Okay, got it. I will contact him. Thanks for that. I'll put the link also of his name in the description of the podcast. Last question is for you, where we send people who wants to buy your product and become your client, or just know better about you.
If you want to buy my products, you go to Founderpal AI. If you don't want to buy my products, you go to my Twitter, read a few of my posts, and then like you lose all the appetite for my products. So, choose what works for you. But two main links is Founderpal AI and Twitter at Dan Kulkov.
Yes, of course, the link will be in the description for all of them. If you want, it's easier to click than to try to guess how to write it. Thanks a lot for your time. That was amazing. I think I learned a lot, even for myself. So I hope people also learn.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to talk.
Yeah, thanks. So if our listener enjoy the podcast, I recommend to sometimes just send us a message like, thank you, it was amazing, the podcast, or thank you, I have this question or something. It's always cool to know we've been listened and it was interesting for you. And I say to you, see you next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.